tourism centers, the touristic centers of Istanbul, mostly unsophisticated attacks against ordinary tourists. But this kind of attack takes a lot of planning, and it's much more sophisticated. And in previous attacks, ISIS did not claim responsibility, but some attacks against Kurdish activists and Turkish left-wing activists took around 150 lives.
It's a clearly coordinated attack, and what does that tell us about the way IS seems to be functioning within Turkey? Yes,
as you know, there are groups around the world that claim allegiance to ISIS, but in Turkey we don't have such a thing. There's no group, there's no emir, there's no leader of ISIS. Apparently they don't, and I think this is what security sources believe, they don't act as part of a hierarchical unified organization, but there are around more than a dozen cells which are more or less autonomous, and they can pick up their targets and execute the attacks. Not necessarily with coordination from Raqqa, but this attack bears a lot of resemblances to the attacks in Brussels airport and in Paris, where explosives and gunshots were used in combination.
And just as is the case in Brussels and Paris, it makes surveillance and tracking them and preventing future attacks harder.
Exactly. Istanbul Airport is generally a very secure airport, but they focus very much on preventing any weapons or explosives to be taken into airplanes. But it's generally a very chaotic environment just in front of the airport, with lots of taxis and buses competing with each other to get clients. And those who are familiar with the Istanbul Airport would know that you get checked at the entrance of the airport. As opposed to many other airports where you get checked in the passport control area. But it doesn't change much for attackers, because they can just target the first checkpoint. And in this case, they targeted and attacked the security officials and pushed their way through into the terminal to blow themselves up.
Guney, what about the timing here? Because when you look at what Turkey's been doing with rapprochement, Israel trying to thaw relations with Russia. I mean, President Erdogan might have been congratulating himself before this happened.
Exactly, and I was speaking to a Turkish official who was telling me that this kind of attack takes planning, and it's sophisticated, so it might not have been necessarily something to do with the recent foreign policy moves, but they believe that it can be influenced by Turkey's latest policy moves with Russia, rapprochement with Russia and Israel, especially with Russia rather than Israel, because any security cooperation between Russia and Turkey will make Turkey much more effective in Syria, and could have influenced Turkey's foreign policy regarding Syria as well.
So it may all wind back to Syria.
Exactly, and this is also coming just during a very significant attack in northern Syria, in Minbic area, which is very close to Turkish border, and ISIS is risking to lose all its access to Turkish border if they lose that target. Obviously, Turkey does not take place in that operation, and very much hostile to the main group who's carrying out the operation, but still they're not doing much to prevent other groups attacking from attacking ISIS, and ISIS might have been negotiating in this way against Turkish officials.
Guney, thank you so much for coming in and for your expertise. Thank you.